Madam, please begin.
Yes, thank you so much. Very good afternoon, all of you. On behalf of Center for Human Resources Development, Parul University, I, Dr. Jyotsna Amin, Deputy Director, welcomes you all to next VU webinar series. Today's topic is Design Student Learning, a Backward Design Paradigm. And for enlightening us on the same, we have Dr. Vibhuti Narayan Biswal. Dr. Vibhuti is Academic Coordinator, Reliance Foundation Schools. He has 21 years immense academic experience, and he is a man of science education, I should say. He has pursued her PhD in science education. So he is a combination of education and science. And his work reflects 173 research articles in various international popular science journals and 60 research presentations. Along with that, he is a national faculty for Institute of Satya Sai Education, Mumbai, since 2008. He is a recipient of Educator Innovator Award in 4th Educational Leadership International Roundtable CMA Lucknow 2010. It is among the 100 highly effective principles by AKS Alert Knowledge Science Gurgaon 2018 and 5th Open Page Educator Award for Education in Social Service 2019 by Tripada Foundation, Ahmedabad. His academic contribution and academic interest are in the field of science education, chemistry education, science communication, parenting, teacher professional development, emerging pedagogy, authentic assessment, and so on. The list is very long. So without wasting time, I request Dr. Vibhuti and Biswal to take up the session. The stage is all yours, sir. I'll be at the backstage. If you need any help, you can call.
Thank you, Dr. Jyotsna, for a wonderful remark, and I'm sure that today's discussion is going to take us one good understanding that how learning can be best way designed so that learning will happen in authentic manner. Hello, everyone, and very good afternoon to all of you. So I'm really privileged to be part of this discussion. The discussion is on designing learning by using very interesting design called backward designing. I'm sure all of you have joined through Facebook Live page, so I may not be able to see you virtually, but definitely I can get your question through Facebook Live page, and I request all of you. So please ask one question today, okay? And whatever you feel to ask, please do it. So without any hesitation, because your question will empower our discussion, okay? So today's discussion, let me begin with today's discussion with my presentation. For a moment, give me a moment, and share my screen so somebody can confirm. My screen is yeah. So this is what we go design student learning a backward designing paradigm. So here, what exactly we are talking? I was just going through Parul University, web page, and I could just like slice out two important things from the vision and mission statement. The mission statement of Parul University is talking about is that how can we bring a bridge the gap between academia and career. So that is the within the bracket, academia and career. So here, if you look at the slide, my first slide is talking about your curriculum and our lives. The life of student in one hand, here is a curriculum, the bunch of teachers you are offering. It is not one teacher, it is the whole teaching community of Parul University. So where we meet, do you have any idea about it? Okay, and that is how I think this diagram is going to take our journey for another 55 minutes. Okay, so if you look at this left side and right side, so there is a meeting point that is called coherence point. That is called point of convergence. So this point is relevance. And today's discussion will be doing largely on this meeting point. Okay, one hand there is a curriculum, other hand there are students, their life is at stake, and here teachers, we are as a teachers, we are delivering the curriculum, right? So let us understand. So what exactly we'll be talking briefly throughout these 50 minutes. So my first point will be teachers are designers. You saw that previous diagram, right? The previous diagram, if you look at, so curriculum, right? So you have to design to your curriculum to fit with that will fit to the within the life of the child. Okay, but the design is not proper, probably the curriculum is not making any sense to that particular child. Okay, then that sense, teachers are designers. Number two, curriculum is a means to an end. Okay, so this is a means, it is not end itself. Okay, this is only means. Now, number three, thinking of evidence that students have attained the understanding that is called proficiencies in absolute term we call learning outcomes or graduate attributes. Okay, is critical before planning and teaching and learning experiences. So this is most important. If I'll remove that learning outcome part and graduate attributes, probably I cannot design my course or my curriculum, whatever subject I'm teaching, that is going to really help each and every graduates who are entering to the Parvati University. Now, number third, there should be a coherence among desired result in terms of learning outcome and graduate attributes. That key performance, how students are manifesting that learning, that is in terms of that, and teaching and learning experiences means better student performance. Largely, we will be talking about this 4 points, and throughout this presentation, here and one or other way, we will be referring to these all 4, and you will get answer to all this 4. Well, so here, I'm having another context. My context is what is it the national policy is talking about? Okay, about my teaching learning practices. Okay, what is it I'm getting through my experience over a period of time of 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, the number of years I have invested in teaching and learning practices. So NEP is talking about that innovative teaching is very much important to improve the learning outcome, and that will be recognized. Okay, so now NEP is somehow emphasizing that our teaching learning strategy that is really good, really making some sense, making some difference in classrooms, is going to be documented. In one sense, that documented teaching learning practices can be shared with others for its wider replication. Okay, so that's what within the bracket. So we have to be very, very particular about teaching learning practices, what we follow each and every day throughout our teaching learning journey. Number two, most of our assessment efforts occurs that learning, okay, learning, most of the assessment efforts occur after the learning of the end of the units and are used for grading and reporting for the assessment purpose. And if you look at the improving learning is concerned, it is too late. It is too late to improve, go back to my basics and find out my teaching learning strategy and course correction. Okay, so in that sense, so our assessment at the moment, so we are only looking at for grading purpose rather than improving teaching learning practices every day after after each and every day. So we have to be very, very careful about it. And many a time teachers are not sure what kind of learning is desired and what kind of criteria they should be assessed, sometimes that doesn't match. So this is the context on which we'll be discussing. So if these are all those three things can be taken into account, probably we can really justify our assessment practices. That practice is going to help us in ensuring that learning is happening in a more authentic manner, in a more concrete manner, that really reflects some development of some competencies, acquisition of knowledge and skills. Is it really happening? Who is going to think about it? Are you all ready? If at all you are all ready, please, I don't know how you're going to show me the thumbs up, but at least, Facebook Live, you can put it your thumbs out there, right? Here comes another interesting, research. That research is, what is it exactly? The research is coming from how people learn. How people learn, they say, what they say, the students come to the classroom with preconceptions. They have their preconceptions about anything, how the world works. If the school, the colleges, the universities, we fail to capture those preconceived ideas and really work on those preconceived ideas, then we can able to improve their learning curve. In case we miss that, simply they will prepare those whatever teaching learning practices information you are giving, that is not helping for misconception and it's what you call clarification. Same misconception will persist even after they attend your courses. So that means, so if at all a child is coming with good amount of misconception in a subject or a course, whatever, so our first priority should be to understand those misconceptions, work on it, make their misconception into concrete conception. Okay, is it really happening or not? But universities and teachers are not paying attention to that part. Probably learning is not happening. Just we are passing it. Look at that. So another research is talking how students learn. If you look at the how students learn, it is becoming increasingly important that children only learn, but in which way? They should learn how to learn. Okay, that is most important. It is not the amount of information you consume every day through different means, through your classroom notes or tutorials or XYZ, whatever the platform that is university is offering. But do they know how to learn? So if they know, they can really learn by themselves. Means they can really make some progress in their own self-directed learning. So look at this. So if a student learning framework, if you look at this framework involves identifying the challenges, gathering information, generating potential solution, refining ideas, and finally testing solutions. So as a faculty member, whatever faculty you may be teaching, so what is my primary responsibility is identify those misconceptions, identify those ideas, and challenges what students are facing in terms of learning the concept, whatever the subject it is. Then you organize it and give maximum impetus to those ideas in terms of conceptual processing. Once they are done, so probably some sort of understanding will come out of all this that exercise. That is what we will be talking about through this today's discussion. And one thing is that whatever you do, first thing is that how students learn. First, you ask how you learn and why I learn. Why should I learn? Okay, why should I learn? Then, if that is my question, but I know why, then definitely I can guide my children how to learn. Then definitely I can really take my children through some good learning material that is called What to Learn. Well, I know why. then I can able to design. Okay, I can make a path for my children. That is called how. And what will be your only, that is called your materials, or your, what you call, your text, notebook, your PowerPoint presentation. All those things will only add to the learning process. Okay. So here there are some of key questions, before I could go for backward designing, I'd just like to share with you, because these are the things, the moment we ask question ourselves, we'll understand better. What is the perspective we like to understand, create around teaching learning practices, around authentic learning? If learning outcomes and graduate attributes, as a university, so these are all outcomes and attributes, are our goals, and that is to be achieved through process of teaching and learning. Then, question number 1, how should we think about teachers designing instruction? You have to think about it. How are you going to design your instruction so that the graduate attributes, what the university is talking. So Parul University is talking about 4 or 5 graduate attributes. One of the attributes is called domain knowledge. Second attribute is called, critical thinking and problem solving. I don't know. So how we teach problem solving skills? Theoretically, or by giving something. And today we'll be discussing, in subsequent slides about that also. Number 2, what educational experiences can be provided so that the students are likely to attain those outcomes and graduate attributes, that is called your purpose. My next question is, how will the teacher bring the world to their students' instruction? So if let us say you are teaching operation research to group of students, right? So how are you going to create that the domain of an image of the operation research in front of the children? Is it through one principles, one what do you call it, one concept, or you want to give a wider context to that subject? How are you going to do that? Think about it. So my last question is, to what degree will teachers rely on classroom instruction, multimedia presentation, educational resource usage? So right now, my question number 4 is, this is what, anytime it is observed, we heavily rely on our PPTs and some resource sharing. Okay, so is it really contributing to authentic learning? To what extent? Okay, so these are the key questions I am asking as a teacher to myself every day before entering my class. I am sure every one of you can improve each and every day in a different manner, so that what will happen, your teaching and learning practices will be better and better. I'll give you one specific example of a golden circle. Suppose today you are going to teach mathematics. So mathematics, any theorem or a principle, say law or whatever you want to teach. So first thing we have to ask, why should I teach this? How should I teach this? Whatever you are going to teach. Then what impact I'm going to create through this? If all things are connected in a single string, probably we can make impact. We can create a good domain knowledge. We can create good amount of competence in that subject. That's why we should be very much clear about why. That is center part of golden circle. You can see in this slide. Okay, why do you do what you do every day? Then second, look at the second concentric circle. That is your how. So why do you do? How you do? And last one is what. So many times it is observed we operate only what level. That's why our outcomes are very much limited. The moment we go for how and why domain, probably our outcomes, our graduate attributes will definitely is going to be phenomenal. Okay, and how can you do this? Okay, how can you do this? You can do it, definitely you can do it, through your help, everybody's help, and our sincere efforts. Okay, here comes one interesting book. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, begin end with mind. Begin end with mind, right? So I'll share with you one interesting story, and that story really fascinates me every day, because as a practitioner, I look at this story as a kind of beginning of my journey of the day, and I end my day's journey with again another kind of I end of the day, end my day with similar uh, this story. So what is it exactly I'm trying to say? All of you might be traveling through Ola, or for namesake, you go to Uber. The moment you open your that Uber app, so they will ask something. I'll ask anyone, some of you to write in chat box. So Dr. Joshnai Patel, you are listening to me in chat box. I'll be asking somebody to write. So what are the 3 things, whenever you travel in Ola or Uber, you do? They have to write in that chat box.
Yes,
Okay, in
they
our Facebook Live.
in Facebook chat box, you can address to them, and I'll tell you the answer.
Yeah. So let them write it there. So whatever, what are the 3 things, you do whenever you go for Ola or Uber travel? Okay. First thing, second thing, third thing. Okay. So I don't know. So some of you might have written or not. So, but what I do, first, the moment you ask, you open that app, first thing it will ask where you want to go. Means your destination first. Number 2, where you are now, current location. Then fix it. Once you are done, this is stage number 1 is over. You go to, you then book it, and you will get a cab. And the moment you go for a journey, then you will have that route map will come. The moment you go for route map, so you can see that whether your route is wide open, clear, or traffic congestion is there. If there is a congestion, so that it will direct you to change the route and reach to your destination. So why am I telling this story to all of you for designing learning? Let us flip this classroom, this whole story to our classroom situation. So whenever you prepare any question paper, any assessment you prepare, what comes to your mind first? What is it you want to do there? And after getting your assessment done, so what exactly you do for the children, for the students, right? So if that is the case, so first thing is you should know where you are going. Okay, the story is telling us you should know where you are going, right? Through your teaching learning, through your assessment, where you are going. Where you are going means, are you going to achieve some concept? Are you going to achieve some sort of complex, big ideas? So what is it you want to go? You want to achieve? So you know that, right? Number 2, you better understand, okay, where you are now. So look at the Ola story. If you look at, so whenever you travel, so the Ola gives you the roadmap, right? So you would know where you are, right? Similarly, by taking, midterm test or whatever test you assessment, whatever you want to take, so you know where children are in terms of learning of certain concepts. Then last one, you take the right step in the right direction. Okay, suppose one route of Ola is showing that this is a traffic congestion is there, so you have to do some alternate route. You have to find out alternate route. Sometimes the application itself shows you this is the other alternate route. Please go ahead. Means you want to reach the destination, right? So anyhow, either this way or other way, but you are reaching destination. That app is ensuring to all of us, and we're happily enjoying that. Okay, so similarly, whenever we do anything, any assessment, so assessment gives a direction. okay, for course correction in teaching learning practices. So this is the story. Well, that's what I am. So I said, so this story really fascinates me. Ola story, right? So let us go to our everyday classroom, what we do every day. So if you agree, you can tell me in the chat box, yes. If you disagree, you say no. You also say, yes, I disagree. There is nothing, no hard and fast rule, uh, as long as your personal, you know, response is concerned. So you say yes or no, whatever you like. So in our day-to-day classroom activity, so what do we normally do? So mostly you approach this way. You select one activity. First, select one activity. Then after activity is done, you design one assessment. Then once design assessment is done, then you identify results, whether child is really doing well or not. Okay, so this is our called normal course of action we do each and every day. So irrespective of faculty. So you go how to approach this way. Okay, is there any other way also around which can give us more, I mean, leeways for learning and ensuring that children are highly engaged? Yes, there are ways, and one of the ways backward design. Let me tell you how backward design. So in backward designing, so this goes in other way around. Number one, first you identify desired results. First you identify your learning outcome or graduate attributes, which what you want to achieve through your course. Number two, well, you want to achieve that course. What is it the evidence you will be looking for in terms of skills, in terms of competencies, in terms of your domain knowledge? So what do you want? You decide there. Right. So if at all you want particular domain knowledge, particular skill, particular competency, then you will be aligning some materials. Okay, I mean, you giving some textbooks, giving some resources, right? So then you plan your instruction and provide resources. If that is the case, probably we are definitely closer to our outcome. Okay, this is the beauty of the backward design. Now let us go to let us go to about the background of little backward design. This designing was proposed by Joy McTighe and Grant Wiggins in their book that is called Understanding by Design. Fantastic book. If you have time, please download this book, published by ASCD. It's very highly renowned author. These are two highly renowned authors. So take that, download that book and read. And what they said in that book, okay? Backward designing focuses on desired results. For me, for you, for Parallel University, the desired result is learning outcomes and graduate attributes. And how these will be evidenced? What is it exactly you will be creating one evidence that child has the student they have developed their competencies, they have developed their skills, they have added, they have enhanced that, widened their domain knowledge. What is that evidence you'll be looking for? Evidence in this sense, in terms of your skills, in terms of your competencies, in terms of your domain knowledge. So mark sheet is one indicator. There are other way of getting evidence. One evidence could be performance task. If only one graduate attribute is problem solving, can I really solve problem in a real-time basis? That is one evidence. If it's some immediate problem, something happened in a particular department, some emergency happened, if at all I could able to go and solve that emergency, then I know how to handle the problem. Do we really think and integrate those aspects into our curriculum, designing and teaching learning practices? Okay, so now how these will be evidenced and how students can experience and practice what they learn. That is called learning activities. Some of you might be knowing about it. Yesterday I was listening to Minister of Youth and Sports Affairs Joint Secretary. So what he has said, the employability rates. he gave a particular statistics. The employability rate of MCA graduates all over India is a highly, what do you call, discouraging. He said around roughly 24%. I don't know why. To whom you have to blame? Are you going to blame the student, or are you going to blame the course structure, or are you going to blame the university or colleges? I don't know. But the end of the story is that they are unemployable. And interesting on top of it, those who are going for employment, again they are getting reskilled. Again, companies, they spend more money on them to what do you call, reskill them, so that they can work as per their need. But that is the matter, that is the fact, in front of all of us. Okay, how are you going to deal with that? Even if I say learning outcome and the graduate attributes are okay and we are achieving, is it really making some difference in terms of this gross employment? Okay, employment is one aspect of it. However, our graduates are happy in their life. Okay, how do I know about it? So these are all things, no? So yeah, next is backward design is talking about the three elements. Okay, one element is learning outcome. Number two, you design a task that is called assessment task. Okay, through the process of assessment, and finally you design learning activities. So there should be a one-to-one correspondence between your learning outcome, so-called graduate attributes, and your process of assessment and your process of teaching and learning. Okay, these three things should go parallel. Go in a straight line. Okay, if here and there, so that it will be definitely challenging for all of us to achieve those things. Otherwise, it will be on paper only. So, in that sense, a backward designing emphasizes the teacher's critical role as a designer of learning. So we design because we know where to go. We know where we are in terms of learning. We know that what activity suit best to our children's learning level. So in that sense, we are called designers. Okay, so here are some more things about backward design. If you look at the three-step backward designing model, so step number one, identify desired result. Just in this particular step, you ask a very interesting question: what will students be able to do by the end of the lesson, module, unit, or course, or your program? You can add a program because you run program. So Parul University run roughly something, 250 programs, 140 programs through 20 faculties and 30 institutes. Okay, so whenever you to go for teaching, learning, designing, first you ask, so are our program really making our children capable? Okay, what is that? That is that end result. Fix it first. And number two, so determine assessment evidence, means how will students demonstrate what they have learned. So here comes the evidence you have to collect that they have learned. Okay, so it can be through some performance task, it can be through your achievement test, or it can be through any other mode as per your institutional practices. We take care of those things, but everything should be authentic. It should be real life oriented. It is not teaching, learning is assessment is a very small piece of this evidence. There was a number of evidence we will be discussing in subsequent slides. Then third step is your plan learning experience and instruction. So what type of activities, materials, and resources will lead students to design results? So here comes your instructional designing, instructional plan, and some resources. So here comes, this is the last stage. So good teachers, what they do, they start with their outcome in mind, and they design. So what other assessment tasks should I design during my teaching, learning, so that I could get those output, those kind of manifestations. Yes, students, they have reached at certain level of learning. So that is the most crucial part. Okay, so before we go to our classroom, real-time classroom, everything is really designed. Just in classroom, you go and execute it and get it. So that is where we are called a real architect of a classroom, an effective classroom, right? So if you look at the three important stages of backward designing, so three important stages of backward designing are: number one, identify desired result, means I'm talking about again learning outcome. Determine acceptable evidence, means I'm talking about authentic assessment. And learning experience and instruction, means I'm talking about pedagogy. So here comes pedagogy, authentic assessment, and learning outcome. The three things are held together, then only you will get that particular outcome. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. I'll quickly go through. So stage one, identify desired result. Whenever you talk about identify desired result, then so what is it exactly? What students should be hearing, reading, and viewing, and exploring, and otherwise encountering. So this knowledge is considered as knowledge worth being familiar with. Okay, so this is a lowest level. So just like you go and take, like, deliver lecture, this is a lowest level. Just simply that make our children more familiar, a little bit oriented to about piece of text, a piece of information. We'll go to next level of desired result. Next level is talking about what knowledge and skills students should be mastering. Students should be mastering knowledge and skills. This is the most important. And this is where the outcome part is linked directly. Okay, the knowledge and skills at this sub-stage are considered important to know and to do. Okay, so our children, because unemployable, because they know but they cannot do. So here, this will help us to know and do. So this step is most important. The information that fits within this question could be concepts, principles, processes. Here come process. I'll just take a pause on these processes. So if at all you ask any engineering graduate, what is scientific method? What they understand mean by scientific method? Can they formulate one hypothesis? Can they really come out with at least good journal, some piece of research which is really relevant to their teaching learning, what teacher is teaching? Can they really analyze critically about piece of research, what is happening or in this university or outside the university? So these are all sort of hands-on skills. Probably our children they require more, and that is what. So they need to be. This step is very much important in terms of knowing and doing. Doing is important. That is evidence. Yes, I can do. Yes, I can speak. Yes, I can perform. That is called able to do. Okay. So strategies and methods, and should they know, and after completion of your syllabus, so called your course. Once your course is completed, so what is it that 5 things the students can do? What are the 10 things they can talk about? What are the 3 things they can question about? What is the one thing they can take from that course throughout their life? If that is happening in our classrooms, definitely we are doing our best in our classrooms. Okay, our children are really learning. Desired result, question number 3. What are the big ideas and important understanding students should retain after your course is over? For lifetime they will retain, and we call it is enduring understanding. I'll give you one example. But today we are discussing about. Today we are here discussing about that telescope. Some engineering projects, some people they do take face, they go for several models they make. So recently, James Webb Space Telescope, shared one image 3-4 days back. First time it happened in history. James Webb shared good image because it is better and far more clearer than Hubble's image. Okay. The question is that those who are right now pursuing our engineering courses or technology courses, whatever, Can they really correlate? So what they can do for James Webb project? Can they really think of what will be their contribution for designing ITER, International Thermonuclear Energy Research Reactor that is happening in Paris, where India is one of the partner. So these by applying their existing physics or mathematics or engineering principles and practices, whatever they're learning. So if that we can really connect, widerly, probably that is going to help us, help the children to take their learning curve to the next level. Then what is the desired result for teachers? Desired result for teachers means, so first of all, we have to have greater awareness about learning outcomes. Then we should be, designing authentic tasks, okay, and select appropriate pedagogy. For one reason, the students should know why. Anything and everything they do, they should ask why, so what, and how. Okay, why, what, and how. So students should know about it. That is called able to do. Okay, that is called evidence. So here, one communication is effective, creative communication, or collaborative communication, effective communication. One paragraph I have shared with our students, and so if at all they can read out first and connect those piece of text with the local context. So okay, local environment, print, and different literacy for different purpose, name of the alphabet, everything. So this is called worth being familiar with. This is first level of information. Okay, and if they can really sequence it, they can write. Okay, they can convert it into play. So that is called assimilation. So it means they can really, after knowing, they can assimilate and convert it in their performance. Okay, and if you go to the last one, the inner circle is called enduring understanding. Enduring understanding means, so through that piece of text, if at all the child is getting, child can really, student is really performing, grammatical, okay, grammatical constructions and connect to story to life experiences and oral directions, and pays attention to whatever the words that is given in the text, the beginning of the sound, silent words, everything the child is able to do, means that one is going to retain in the life of the child. So the inner circle is called enduring understanding. Means what of, why of things, how of things, and what of that particular passage. So everything I know. If I am looking at only worth being familiar with, I only to look at what part of it. And middle one is how part of it. And last one is why part of it. Okay. So in our, so backward designing is really helping us to go to the deeper level. That is called deep dive. Deep dive into this our what you call learning process as far as conceptual learning is concerned. Okay, let us go to stage 2. Stage 1 is over. So again, I repeat, stage 1 is identify desired outcomes. Your outcomes are learning outcomes and graduate attributes. Your university has decided. Number two stage is, stage number 2 is determine acceptable evidence. So whenever we consider about assessment and performance tasks, students will complete in order to demonstrate evidence of understanding and learning. Okay. My question here is, how will I know if students have achieved a particular result? Okay, so means assessment should be aligned here with learning outcome. It is not that teacher want this way. It is learning outcome way. because I want to know whether my students, they understood my lecture today. If that is the case, so I am not talking about outcomes. So our effort must be linked to our outcomes. So that is what, whenever we talk about acceptable evidence, means first evidence is outcome. That will come through your learning outcome, that will come through your assessment. Okay. Number two question is, what will I accept as evidence of student understanding and proficiency? So here comes one authentic assessment. To achieve this, consider a wide range of assessment methods in order to ensure that students are being assessed over the goals the teacher wants the student to attain. Okay, so here the methods we have to employ a realistic method, which is really helping. Okay, so you call it authentic assessment. Let us spend at least 1 minute on authentic assessment. There is one, I don't know. So this one is there. There is video is there. So authentic assessment. So probably I'll just look at that. So let me check it. Video is working. Yeah, let me take a try. Yeah. So if you look at this,
Video has no sound.
hello.
Sir, actually your video is playing, but sound is not coming.
Okay, okay. Okay. I have to share no sound, yeah. Can somebody help me to get this? I mean, sound, because sound button is somewhere.
Sir, actually it will take long time and we are about to end the webinar. There is only 10 minutes left to that.
Okay, okay. Let us go to that then.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what should I accept? Evidence. So this video is talking about one interesting thing, that anything and everything we do in terms of learning. So the learning should be whatever teaching should be for understanding and transfer. This video essence is understanding and transfer. So authentic assessment is what exactly Gibbs is talking about, the way of engaging the students in through questions in which students use knowledge to show their performance creatively. Okay, so here we are talking about performance tasks and by using rubrics. So here there is a comparison between traditional assessment and authentic assessment. If you look at authentic assessment, these are real-time tasks, they are performance tasks, they are connected to real life situation. Assessments are designed, they are application ability based on the application abilities, and assessment questions are student structure. It is not what teacher want to only get that information. So these are all comparison between authentic assessment and your traditional assessment. So if you look at authentic assessment, the authentic assessment creates enduring understanding, that inner circle, instead of worth being familiar with. So whenever you take any test in terms of paper pencil test, selected response and constructed responses. Selected response means MCQ type. Constructed response where students are writing something. So we are only talking about the outer circle, that is both being familiar with, that is one level of achievement. But middle one is important to know and to do. So this is also kind of partly catered to. But whenever you take authentic assessment task, which is based on your real life experiences, so we become more what you call more that closer to enduring understanding. So these are all examples of assessment, authentic assessment evidences. So you can think of as far as your assessment perspectives are concerned. So one thing I'd like to just highlight here is whenever you make any assessment, so make sure there should be a coherence among your learning outcomes, your assessment and pedagogy. Okay, because assessment task mirrors with your learning outcome. So if your assessment in task is really very strong, means outcome is bound to happen. Okay, understanding learning outcome and designing appropriate assessment tools to assess the acquisition of relevant skills are important to teachers. So in that sense, again, we are designers. We have to design appropriate assessment tools. Okay. So here, if you look at this, so instructional strategies, that is pedagogy, should be aligned with outcomes, because if you want a student to demonstrate some skills and competencies, then learning opportunities for developing skills and competencies should be given to students. Means you have to give that experiences, right? If you look at the from top-down model, so here top comes your learning outcome is closely linked to your assessment, the learning activities. Finally, content is being processed. Okay, so content can only be processed when there are good learning activities, and there are good number of assessment tasks around it, and that will ensure that learning outcome is really achieved. And last stage is called planning learning experiences and instruction, which is we call your lesson planning, lesson designing. Okay, here teachers begin to consider how they will teach instructional strategies and learning activities to be created, right? So you can just like have a look at this. So I'm skipping this, and let me go to here. Whenever you prepare learning experiences, so please understand that what kind of enabling knowledge in this in terms of facts, concept, principles, skills, okay, the processes, procedure, strategy, which students will be given in order to perform effectively and achieve the desired outcome. That must be kept in mind. What activities will equip students with the needed knowledge and skills, that also should be kept in mind. What needs to be taught and posed, so course within bracket course, okay, and how should be taught in the light of performance goals, and what materials, teaching aids and resources are best suited to accomplish these goals. These are all a couple of things you should keep in mind while making your instructional plan. So here another couple of instruction that examples are being given here. You can think of large group discussion. You can think of think pair share activity. You can think of cooperative learning activities. You can think of collaborative class assignment. You can think of one good guided inquiry problem solving. Okay, guided inquiry, active problem solving activity you can assign to our student. So one more interesting, that way of triggering our making your instructional plan more student engaged, student centric is asking questions. We call using question stems. Question stems are basically used for scaffolding our instruction. Okay, some of you might know give scaffolding. Just you are giving a kind of support to the learning spiral of the side. So whenever you look at the scaffolding, so question stems. So question stems will help us in developing metacognitive, higher order thinking skills development. Okay, so I'll give you one example. So if you look at the right side here, the stems are called why does, what if, how would you, could you explain, all those things. Anything, just you start with this question become your open-ended question. It is not close-ended question. It's open-ended question. Every student, they need to write, answer that. Okay. So can you take a try? Okay. For example, how does immigration affect economics around the world? Because every now and then the world, the immigration crisis is happening. Is very much rapid now. So what impact did humans have on environment during 21st century? So this is also one of the open-ended questions. Okay. So they need to think about it. So the moment they go deep of it, they will get to know. One more strategy is called reflection. This is one of the finest strategy you can use it. Today I'm giving this, living with this experience, activity that today those who are listening to me. So today you have to reflect on design learning. Okay, I used to think design learning in this way, but now I know this way. One thing I learned about design learning is this: I still wonder something about design learning. So this is called one of the interesting strategy where you can really keep your students engaged. So whenever you engage, and then that sense, so you are designers because you design for their engagement. So backward design for teachers, ask themselves the one question: what enduring understanding do these students take away with them and retain and remember for long after the end of the course? So that is the challenge, that is the opportunity the backward designing is giving to all of us. So please look at this. One of the idea is big idea. So big idea is interdisciplinary learning, and it allows students to build more effectively on their existing knowledge by making connection between concept and the principles taught in different disciplines. For example, ITR reactor is fusion reactor is work is happening. We have got some success. India is a partner to it. How can the process of fusion can be used to create clean energy, to generate clean energy, just like we get energy from sun. So whenever you teach this concept, connect to ITR, so then you get some idea. So these are some questions. So I'm leaving with you. So this is a big idea, and this is my last slide, perhaps. Implication of backward designing for course design as a faculty, so that whenever you design a course, so start with the end outcome, that is program outcome or course outcome in mind. Look for evidence that will reflect the outcomes that design authentic tasks. Focus on inculcating process skills, values, and attitudes and competencies, and redefine assessment strategies. Okay, by doing so, by using backward designing, teachers know where they are going in terms of learning, so that they better understand where they are now. Okay, where they are now means students are now in terms of learning, so that they can take the right step in the right direction to achieve learning outcomes or graduate attributes, whatever is being fixed by our institute. With this, I'd like to thank the organizer for offering me this opportunity to share this idea of backward design with all of you. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Jyotsna.
Thank you
If
so
any
much.
question, I'll be happy to take up some questions.
Actually, there are many likes on Facebook page about the topic. However, no questions and interactions are there. So I guess your explanation was very clear about the concept you were delivering. So I, again, on behalf of Center for Human Resources Development, Parole University, thank you, Dr. Vibhuti Narayan Biswal, and we hope to continue the collaboration for future also. And many more deliberations are due with you. That is what I understand. Thank you so much again. Thank you all the viewers on the Facebook, and thank you, PU webinar team.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.